Good morning, teachers. My classmate, Valentina Vallejos, and I, Isidora Sandoval, are going to analyze a case study in our first Hito Evaluativo. Case presentation. The case study involves a subsidized school in the Biobío region, which faces several challenges. The students, who come from economically vulnerable backgrounds, show a lack of interest in learning. Mr. Zapata, who is in charge of teaching English, has worked at the institution for 18 years and suffers from overworkload as he is currently the only English teacher. He has low expectations regarding his students' performance and refrains from teaching even the most basic required skills. It is anticipated that the students will graduate without knowing English and will not pursue further studies. Our objective today is to analyze the case, review the student's profile, explain the teaching role, and how the teacher's performance is a factor in hindering students' improvement. Now I'm going to talk about the educational context. In this case study, the subsidized school under analysis is characterized by socioeconomic vulnerability and significant educational deprivation. About socioeconomic vulnerability, most of the students' families receive help and benefits from the state, meaning that they are not able to afford basic daily needs or proper resources for learning. Thanks to this, many students do not see the opportunity to go to university as affordable. About the educational deprivation, the school displays poor management of its infrastructure and learning spaces, given that each course is paid out of 43 students, accommodating more than 40 people in one single classroom. This increased the risk of distractions, the inability to manage the classroom, and the risk of students not receiving appropriate feedback. There is a teaching shortage too, which causes a single English teacher to teach all the courses. This excessive workload is affecting the teacher's integrity and professional performance. Referring to the teachers, Mr. Zapata shows inadequate teaching, which causes massive numbers of students failing the English course or passing without actually learning something. And the school action plans lead students to pursue only technical studies instead of encourage them to achieve varied academic opportunities. Now, I'm going to talk about the teacher's role. According to Article 2 of Chile's General Education Law, teachers must commit to fostering and developing attitudes, values, and skills that contribute to the holistic development of their students. In this case study, we can observe that Mr. Zapata does not comply with the law, as he commits serious mistakes in the performance of his duty as a teacher. First of all, Mr. Zapata lacks professionalism, moreover, professional ethics. He does not act in accordance with Domain 3, Standard 10 of Estándares de la Profesión Docente, which stipulates that an English teacher demonstrates commitment to the learning of all his students, to the quality of education they receive, and acts with the conviction that all can achieve high levels of learning. Mr. Zapata is allowing his low expectation of his students to hinder the possibility of all of them achieving high levels of learning, which is contrary to ethical teaching practices. The curriculum guidelines for English stipulate that, regardless of the level of education, students must master the four fundamental language skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Even though Mr. Zapata is currently attempting to implement listening, speaking, and writing items, these skills have not been taught for a long time, which is a violation of the agreement reached by the Ministry of Education. In addition to this, there is inconsistency between exam and lessons. The teacher constantly designs exams that are not inconsistent with the dynamic activities carried out in classes. His improved tests display a higher level of difficulty than what is taught and practiced during lessons. Now my classmate will talk about the student's profile.
Hello, my name is Valentina Vallejos, and I'm going to start talking about the student's profile. In this case, the students come from socially and culturally deprived contexts. Most of them come from families with low educational levels and a need to receive benefits from the state. The students also seem to be unmotivated to continue studying, and they have some behavioral issues. The case also mentions that there are different levels of understanding the language that is not being addressed properly. To accommodate the students who don't understand the instructions in English, the teacher translates them, thus hindering the learning process of both a student who understand them and those who don't. Moreover, there seems to be students with learning problems that are not getting the help they need, causing a learning gap in the course. Now, about the methodological and evaluative strategies, we can say that Mr. Zapata uses passive and traditional methodological strategies that focus on memorizing content rather than comprehension, as well as translating words and short sentences, which prevents students from continuously working on developing their listening, reading, speaking, and writing skills, as is required by the Chilean national curriculum in terms of organization of English classes. The teacher also fails to teach sociocultural aspects in English, a topic of extreme importance that must be taught according to the national curriculum, as these aspects are vital for students to develop communication skills in the language. Grammar is an element for achieving communication, not the main focus. In terms of evaluation, Mr. Zapata fails to be coherent. The teacher does not practice listening, speaking, or writing skills, nor does he present formative evaluation during his classes that could benefit the continuous development of foreign language skills and help him monitor the learning progress of his students. According to the Ministry of Education, formative evaluation is central to monitoring whether the teaching strategies are allowing students to learn what they are expected to learn. It is necessary to understand evaluation as something that is carried out while teaching is taking place, so as to have evidence to adjust or redirect some of the practices and support learning progress. His actions also violate Law 20,529, which stipulates that the learning standards set by the Ministry of Education must be met by all institutions and evaluate using valid, reliable, and objective instruments. Now, about the impact of the teacher's beliefs on their teaching performance, we can say that the teacher beliefs can significantly affect their performance, influencing their choices regarding instruction, planning, assessment, and interaction with the students, impacting the implementation of educational reforms. Mr. Zapata's low expectation regarding his students' achievements influence his planning and teaching methodologies, causing him to put little effort in his classes. This hinders the students' English learning, as they don't have a challenge that would motivate them to try to learn the language in the way prescribed by the Ministry of Education. The teacher believes also represents a failure to comply with the Marco para la Buena Enseñanza, which stipulates in Domain C, teaching for the learning of all students, that teachers must demonstrate high expectation and promote challenging learning opportunities for their students by implementing motivational strategies. Finally, we can say that this case shows how important it is for teachers not to be influenced by your own beliefs when teaching. A teacher's low expectation can have a strong and negative impact on a students' academic performance, whether they come from vulnerable backgrounds or not. It is vitally important that the teachers align themselves with the Chilean national curriculum, respecting the learning objectives required by the Ministry of Education, regardless of what the teachers believe his or her students are capable of. The teachers should also strive to implement diverse teaching methods that motivate the students to learn the language in such manner that they can view the English language as a useful communication tool rather than simply an academic burden. Here we have our references. Thank you for listening.